Hello, everybody. Welcome to our March 2018 forecast. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Charlotte Alea, and what I've done is I've drawn 3 cards from the tarot to dive into the energies that are present for us this month and what those energies have to teach us, both the shadow and light qualities of them. So if you've been watching these forecasts for a while, you kind of know the drill. If not, I just want to introduce the deck that I will be using, which I talked a lot about last month, which is the Mariel Tarot. And this is one of my most used and favorite decks because of its depth and complexity. And so I don't really have any other introductions. I think we're going to just dive in right away to these cards. And, well, okay, my only other introduction is that it has finally begun to rain here in Los Angeles, which is really wonderful because we've been in a drought, and also because it really matches the mood of this forecast, which you'll see in a moment is a bit melancholic. It's a bit melancholic and very emotionally expressive. So what I'm going to do is just hold up each of those cards so you get a chance to really drink in the imagery, really drink it in, allow yourself to react, and just then be witness to yourself in your reaction. Notice what emotions are coming through. If you get an intuitive hit, if some words start coming through, if an image starts coming through, just make a note of it and become curious about it. That's how we open the pathways to our intuition. Okay, so I'm going to hold each of these cards up. Here's the first one, Knight of Cups. There we go. And then the second card that I drew, energy for this month, Queen of Discs, which is Pentacles in other decks. All right, and then the third, Knight of Discs. Okay, so if you are familiar with the tarot, you will see that all these cards have something in common, right? What that something is that they are all court cards. So the court cards, if you're not familiar with the tarot, are the 16 personality types. And they include 4 personalities within the suit of cups, within the suit of pentacles, discs in this deck, in the suit of swords, in the suit of wands. And so what's interesting about this is that it is asking us to come into what I like to call this the multiplicity of the self. So my style of reading is that all the cards that I draw for myself and for my clients helps us deepen into ourselves and make discoveries within ourselves, and activate those different parts of ourselves, activate those energies, and learn from them. Okay, so if you learn tarot the traditional way, often those court cards represent other people. Okay, and so we're not actually interpreting it at all in that way, and I know that might be new for some of you who are watching. So each of the court cards does represent a personality, or you can consider it an archetype, right? And so they are it's like a complex person that lives within you. And the idea of the multiplicity of the self is that at any moment in time, you actually have multiple parts of yourself that are activated within you. So not just one at a time. It's not that, in one moment you are the Knight of Cups, and then the next day you are activating the Queen of Discs. So the multiplicity of the self is that you can be and are actually actively the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Discs, and the Knight of Discs all at the same time, and that these different parts of yourself actually need each other and play off of each other. Each of these different parts of yourself hold different emotions, different motivations, different desires, and different beliefs. Each of these different parts of yourself also hold unique gifts, skills, and capacities. So it is actually within all of our interests to come into awareness of these different multiple parts of ourselves that want to be activated at once. It's as if we have a host of characters within our own story right now that are going to help us through this current stage that we're currently working through, okay? And so we're activating all those players, all those characters, bringing them all to the table. Okay, so let's dive into the first player, which is kind of leading the pack right now. This is the player within us that I would say probably for the majority of us feels the most salient, the most present, the most awakened. And that is the Knight of Cups. And as I said, each of these energies holds a unique desire. Okay, and so we're going to talk about each of the different desires of these different parts of ourselves that are awakening right now. So the Knight of Cups desires love, and the Knight of Cups within us is seeking love. And the word that really came through for me when I was meditating with the energy of this card for this month is longing, the experience of longing. So just take a moment right now and actually just close your eyes and breathe into that word, longing. What does that bring up within you? Feel the complexity of that emotional experience. Because for me, in longing, there's both desire and there's the memory of lack. There's the memory of not having that desire matched and met. And so there's a sadness in it. There's this feeling like it's never going to be enough. There's never enough. Another thing that came to mind was that Buddhist term, the hungry ghosts. Right? It takes us, this feeling of longing takes us into this dark space within us, the impenetrable space. Let's call it the impenetrable space. Because it's this dark emptiness that we hold that it just seems like nothing can get through to it. Nothing can fill it. And so this month, our challenge is to open that impenetrable space. To open it up. It's as if there's this dark cellar within us that's been locked for so long that's kind of located, I would say, like at the bottom of our heart center. Okay, because I do also feel this month this great opening of the heart center. And so there's this part of the heart center kind of at the bottom. Right? It's like the cellar that we never go down into. And it's opening those doors, letting out all the moths, letting out all the dust, and letting it breathe. Just allowing that space to breathe and vent. And so what this means, not in a metaphorical sense, it's really about being witnessed in your empty space, in your impenetrable space. Allowing that part of you to be seen and witnessed by yourself, by these different aspects of yourself that that we're all activating this month, and also by others. So how can you open up that impenetrable space? What this means is that we are learning how to embody our desire without going into the wounded space, without going into my desire is just not going to be met, it's too big, and it's too much, and I'm too much, and I will never be filled. What sometimes happens is when our desire is activated deep down here, and it travels up, and it gets caught in that impenetrable space. The impenetrable space takes it over. It takes ownership of it without allowing that desire to be pure, to be transmuted through the body out into the universe, into the world, to give that desire a chance to be met, allowing you to be seen and met in your desire, allowing the universe to match the energy of your desire, your pure desire, rather than the energy of there's never enough. So the deepest desire of this Knight of Cups, what this Knight of Cups desires most deeply, this part of us that's awakened, is acceptance and forgiveness. When we come into that dark, impenetrable space, that space needs acceptance, it needs forgiveness, it needs to be opened up and brought into the whole. So this is the deepest desire of this part of us that is awakening, the seeker of love within all of us. The seeker of love desires acceptance and desires forgiveness. Let's just breathe for a moment. Breathe all that in, because now we'll be shifting to the next energy that is present this month. And so I'm actually going to go to the next Knight now, the last card that came through, which is the Knight of Discs. So the Knight of Discs is a seeker of wholeness. So all the Knights are seekers. So there's two parts of us that are awakened this month. The seeker of love, acceptance and forgiveness, and the seeker of wholeness. So this part of ourselves is very quite interesting, because it's a part of us that seeks, but it's a part of us that never has to actually engage in the active process of seeking. Because once the Knight decides that it wants to seek wholeness, it finds it right away. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't actually need to start seeking. Just by acknowledging I desire wholeness, then this Knight knows how to come into wholeness, because this Knight simply comes into the present moment. And so this part of us deeply desires for us to come into much more fully the present moment of our lives. And so this means that we stop looking for what's ahead of us. We stop focusing on the future. This Knight is calling us to recognize what is present within our lives already that we have not appreciated, acknowledged, or activated fully. That we have not immersed ourselves in the experience of it as much as we can and as much as would be beneficial to us. Because we have been looking externally to us. We've been looking to the future. So this is what this statement might sound a little bit like, that some statements that you might be telling yourself, okay? If only blank, then blank. So if only I had this, then I would experience this. If only this was to happen, then I would feel this. Right? And so we're setting these expectations on receiving what we need, having our desires met based on something that is going to happen in the future, but for some reason cannot happen right now. And what this does is it supports a deeper shadow belief that we're not enough right now, that you're not whole, that there's something missing. And so this Knight is calling us to deeply come into the present and acknowledge and notice and start looking around to what we have been undervaluing. There is so much gold to uncover right in front of you. And when we keep our focus on the future, we become blind. We become blind to the lives that we're currently living. It is connected to that myth of perfection that I spoke about and discussed last month, right? That we're waiting for ourselves to be perfect. We're waiting for another person to be perfect. And especially right now, we're waiting for our lives to look perfect, to meet some kind of expectation that can never be met, to meet that expectation of that impenetrable space within us, which just will never be filled. So living from the future supports that impenetrable space. I don't deserve to feel, to experience, to have this because I'm lacking in some way. So, your challenge this month is to bring awareness to those statements. If only blank, then blank. When this, then I will this. Okay? It's like the endless waiting game. How can you get yourself out of the endless waiting game and allow yourself to come into the present moment? Recognize the present moment. Activate, uncover everything that is present for you right now. Another deep inhale and exhale. Woo. How are you feeling so far? Just take a moment and check in, because I know I'm discussing some really challenging energies. And honestly, the reason I think this is happening is because there is just no more time left. There's just no more time to keep bullshitting and waiting and putting things off. There's just no more time to just be playing around. You know, I know that you are also being called to really uncover these challenging layers within yourself. You're being called to go deep. Being called to finally address these things that you've been struggling with for so long, that have held you back, that have kept you in fear, that have kept you in confusion. You're really being called to release, deeply release, forgive, come into wholeness. So that's the other piece of this Knight of Discs that I want to mention as I wrap up that archetype. Is the something that the Knight of Discs deeply desires is a sense of wholeness and a sense of independence. This sense of being able to be radically self-responsible for our own lives. It's a challenge to be radically self-responsible, but there's also a really deep desire for it because it is incredibly empowering. It's incredibly empowering. Okay, so let's dive into the final energy that is present this month. And that is the Queen of Discs. Okay, very powerful image here, right? And so the Queen of Discs is the embodiment of the physical. The embodiment of our physical selves and our physical worlds. So this Queen is really calling us to come into our bodies, to bring tons and tons and tons of awareness into our actual physicality. And through that process, to awaken to a new form of power within us. So there's a few things that this is going to be playing out for us this month. So first of all, from those other two energies we spoke about, with the seeker of love within us, with the seeker of wholeness and independence within us, as we begin to activate those energies and work through the shadow aspects of them, what's going to happen is we're going to be releasing a lot of emotion, okay? And that emotion needs a place to go. And the place that it goes is through our bodies. And so we need to allow those emotions to flow through us and to find expression, to find release. And the way that they might show up at first is through physicality. And so I want to ask you to become really self-aware of your sensations and your urges. Okay, so what are you hungry for regarding food-wise? What are you feeling literally in each part of your body? Because those are going to be delivering the emotional content that you are experiencing from these other activations within you. And so allow your body to be this. So allow your body to be the sensor that to indicate where exactly you are in your emotional processes, in your awakening. And then uncover those urges and understand what your body really wants. Does it need expression? Does it need to be fed? Does it need to be taken care of? Okay, so in taking care of your body this month, you will also be caring for your spiritual and your emotional selves. And so, yes, so deeply rooted, deeply into the body. Okay, so that's one of the aspects why the queen is kind of coming in as like the great mama who's holding us this month. Okay, so our body is like let me hold and contain all of this. But if I'm going to do that, you need to listen to me. You need to come into my energy. You need to come into the way that I communicate to you. And I communicate to you through physicality. Our bodies are telling us, let me help you. Let me help you. So let's allow our bodies to help us. Okay, so that's one aspect. That's kind of the inner aspect of what's happening. Then there's another aspect of the way that the Queen of Discs is activating within us this month. So your body is a microcosm of all the energy in the world. So it's as if your body is a teeny tiny version of this planet. And so when we begin to see it like that, we consider the earth, right? The earth as an entity is both self-sustaining and all-encompassing, and also very much interconnected and dependent on energies that are bigger than it. So the solar system, our galaxy, the sun, the other planets, right? We can't exist just on our own. And so the Queen of Discs brings us this awareness within ourselves too, that we are all-encompassing and vastly dependent at the same time. We are independent and dependent. And so what we can do is begin to recognize the energies that are within us that also exist on the outside, and the energies that are on the outside that we deeply desire to activate within ourselves. And the way we do that is quite simple. We gravitate our bodies, our mini worlds, towards the energy that we wish to activate within ourselves. We find a mirror for it. When we find that mirror outside of ourselves, that part of us immediately awakens. So this really has to do with relationships. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Choose wisely. Choose to be in the presence of other people that are going to awaken whatever you desire to experience. And so with the Knight of Cups, right, we have come into taking ownership over that desire, seeing it as pure, and then we're going to gravitate ourselves towards another who matches that desire, who matches the energies of what we desire to experience within ourselves, thus activating that within ourselves, thus coming into that feeling, coming into that experience of exactly what we desire. So what energy are you feeling drawn to right now? Whose energy are you feeling drawn to? So that's the first question to really contemplate and to start noticing. Where are you gravitating yourself to? And then bring intentionality to that. Is that coming from a wounded place? Is it coming from a pure intention? And then also coming into that desire. allowing yourself to align with that pure desire within you, and then allowing yourself to then gravitate to that energy on the outside of you, opening the pathways. And when you find it, go right towards it. Go right towards it. There's no need to doubt. There's no need to question it. If you feel the energy on the outside of yourself that you desire, that you want to awaken within yourself, run towards it. Seriously. I talked about this a few weeks ago in my Facebook group, actually, around synchronicity. And one of the things I talked about was if something is working, keep doing it. And don't just keep doing it, do it more. We're getting out of this mindset of lack. There's not going to be enough. And so I need to take, right? And so we're getting out of that mindset that there's never going to be enough, and coming into a mindset of unlimited potential, that where there's some, there's more. It's limitless. So run towards that energy and allow yourself to completely revel in it. Completely revel in it in the present moment. It's again also coming into appreciation, right? And so you can see how all these 3 different energies are actually linking up and supporting each other towards us finding a sense of fulfillment, finding that sense of connection, finding that sense of belonging. So the last piece in this Queen of Discs is to just come into awareness of the shadow quality in her, which is, how are you being drawn to people from a place of lack, right? To people and things. How are you continuing to be in a mindset of lack, where there's just not going to be enough for me from this person, from this thing, from this place. I'm never going to be filled. And so I need to just take, and then be on my way. When we do this, we're also ignoring the powers of our bodies. We're distrusting the powers of our bodies. When we distrust the power of our bodies and the physical cues, the emotional cues, the sensations, we are also cutting off that line to our intuition, and the line to trusting ourselves, and the line to trusting that there will be enough for us, that we can have our desire met. We are shutting the door to that impenetrable place, locking the door, and keeping ourselves not in a place of wholeness, keeping ourselves fragmented. So, to sum up all of these energies, let's talk about the 3 shadow energies that we want to bring awareness to and compassion to this month, because realistically, since we're all in places of healing within our lives, and since we're all unlearning these lies that we've taught about who we are, that keep us from our true selves, that often when these energies show up, we first go to the shadow place. And so I just want to say to you that there's absolutely no shame, no guilt, nothing wrong with first dipping into that shadow place. And in fact, the potential for transformation is so much bigger and so much more powerful when we can go from that shadow place into light, into wholeness, into love. And so just bring a sense of acceptance to the fact that where you begin is in the shadow place. And just because you begin there, it does not mean that you end up there. It does not mean that there's anything wrong with you. It simply means that you are ready to embody your entire sense of humanity and wholeness. You are ready to shine light into those shadow aspects of yourself. you're ready for radical transformation. Okay, so let's go through those 3 shadow energies. So from the Knight of Discs, we have living through that place of impenetrable lack. That dark place within us that we close the doors, that tells us there's never enough, I can never be filled. Which also tells us I'm undeserving of love. I'm undeserving of forgiveness. I'm undeserving of acceptance. Okay, so that's the shadow of the Knight of Cups, of the seeker of love within us. Coming into the Knight of Discs, the shadow of the Knight of Discs is living in future expectation. Living from the future, living from future expectation. Okay, and what this shadow tells us is that I am not enough right now to have what I truly desire. My life right now is not enough, good enough, complete enough to have what I desire. And again, brings us right back into that place of lack, of unworthiness, of not deserving. That third shadow quality, which comes to us from the Queen of Discs, is ignoring the power of our physical bodies and our physical connection to the earth. Okay, so coming into emotional states where we completely detach from our bodies rather, and are just completely living through our emotions as if our emotions are us and our truth. What we can happen is we actually end up sort of detaching and floating away and are completely tuned out from all these signals that our bodies are sending us through sensations, through our intuition, through our emotions. So it's also an underappreciation for our bodies. It's fracturing us. Again, coming into that place of, I am not enough, because we just cannot, we're not experiencing ourselves, the full capacity of our enoughness, of our power. Okay, so those are the 3 shadow qualities that may show up. And when they show up, it's because there's a door that is becoming available to you, a portal. Okay, however you like to put it. An opportunity to transform that shadow. So here is the potential when we are able to kind of come into awareness of our shadows, come into compassion for them, and come into curiosity. Acceptance, compassion, curiosity. Those 3 are superpowers we all have of transforming something that's deeply challenging into an incredible gift. Acceptance, compassion, curiosity. So, with the Knight of Cups, we take ownership and claim our desire for love. We claim it. Whatever we desire, whatever love means to each of us, we claim it. And in claiming it, we open the impenetrable place. We allow that impenetrable place to be seen and to be witnessed. We allow that impenetrable place to speak what it really desires. We claim that desire. We allow ourselves to be worthy of love, the kind of love we really want. Okay, so the type of love and connection that we really want. And we shift that energy into acceptance and forgiveness. Okay, so second opportunity that we have this month with the Knight of Discs. We are coming into the present moment of our lives, and we are valuing what is present, what is all around us. Anything that we might be undervaluing, we begin to value. We begin to have immense gratitude towards. We begin to unwrap everything that is present in our lives and fully use and embody and embrace it. Okay, so third opportunity with the Queen of Discs. We listen to our bodies. We follow its rhythms. We become curious of our urges, curious of our pains, our discomforts. We find expression for emotions. We allow them to have expression through us. And we gravitate towards the energy on the outside of us that is going to motivate us and inspire us. We gravitate towards whatever we desire within ourselves. We gravitate towards wherever we find it outside of ourselves, knowing that when we run towards that energy, we awaken it within ourselves. We allow ourselves to become mirrors to the energy that we seek, allowing that energy to be embodied within us, allowing that ourselves, allowing our bodies to fully activate their power, allowing ourselves to be both independent globes and interconnected pieces of the cosmos. One other thing that I missed before when I was speaking about the Queen of Discs was her deepest desire. So this desire that's also awakening within us, which is to both impact and be impacted. To impact and be impacted. That is the desire that's awakening within us. Okay, so this reading has really gone deep into a lot of different territories. And so I know you might want to just take a few minutes right now as I start to complete this forecast to really just deepen into these energies and to notice what just got stirred up within you. Okay, just take a few minutes to breathe and center and to allow your emotions to surface and find expression through you. Allow resistance to surface as well. Allow any shadows that are beginning to speak to you to surface and find acceptance for them and soften. Soften into whatever has been activated within you right now. And so as I am wrapping up, I just want to share with you an opportunity to work with me longer term for 6 months. I'm currently taking applications for my breakthrough transformative coaching experience. This is for you if you are really ready to unlearn all those lies about yourself that you've been telling yourself for a very long time, and to discover, activate, fully take ownership over what gives you a sense of purpose and fulfillment and belonging and passion in this world. If you would like to experience the world supporting you in this passion and purpose. So I know it's not enough to just know it, but to trust that you can fully take ownership of it, fully embody it, fully trust it, and you will be supported in it. And so that is part of this journey. And if you begin not knowing what you want, what you desire, because there's so much chit-chat still happening, that is where you begin. That is where so many of us begin. It's really just the beginning of the awakening that there is something deeper. There's something deeper waiting for you. There's something bigger waiting for you. That this does not have to be your life. And in fact, you have the potential to serve in a much bigger way by coming into the truth of who you are, by fully taking ownership over your purpose, over your passion, over what's going to fulfill you, over how you love to serve. So this is my only current coaching opportunity and offer right now. And the reason is, like you, I desire to make the biggest impact right now that's possible. And I know the biggest impact happens when we dive deep together for 6 months. That's where radical transformation happens, because our work together does go incredibly deep. It takes a little bit of time. This process cannot be rushed. We dive through all the shadows, all those limiting beliefs. We uncover so many hidden gifts, so much hidden potential, and we nurture it together. So, I'm tired of playing small. I know you're tired of playing small too. And this is why I'm inviting people into the 6-month transformation process right now with me. Because I am feeling like you how much this world is hurting, how much we need change makers right now. And so I deeply desire to be to play a crucial part of awakening the next change makers, of activating the next change makers. So if you think that you could be a change maker, but you don't trust it right now, you're not clear on what exactly your purpose is, how you're going to serve, but you just know, you have a deep knowing that you are supposed to serve, that you want to be part of the solution, that you want to feel like you're serving yourself and serving others at the same time, that you can be supported through your true gifts, through your true self, then I invite you to apply to work with me. So just go ahead and follow the link below. If you go to dreamintuition.com, which is my website, and click on the button that says work with me, and you can read all about this experience, the Breakthrough Coaching Package. And then there is a button to apply to work with me. All right. Thank you so much for coming with me on this month's forecast, this month's journey. I am so honored to have you here and listening and watching and being part of my community. So until then, I will see you next month for April's forecast. And in the meantime, I always plan on doing some other videos, and I really hope to make that happen. I do live trainings every Wednesday in my free Facebook community called the Sacred Sojourner Space. And so you will get more trainings, more videos there than you will on this channel. So I invite you also to come to Facebook, Sacred Sojourner Space, and request to be a member. I would love to have you as part of that community as well. Okay, thanks again for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye.